It is finally over. The Grizzlies Summer League season comes to an end after giving the Clippers the final L of their Summer League campaign. Hi everybody, welcome back to Grizzlies Digest. Excited to be back here with you. Tristan Harlen here to talk about the final game for the Grizzlies 2025 Summer League season. But before we begin, you already know what I'm going to bring up. 81.2% of you guys are not subscribed. 18.8% of you guys are. To my 81.2% of people that are watching these videos that aren't clicking that subscribe button, might I remind you that it's free $99. And then I bid day question, why haven't you clicked subscribe? Why haven't you clicked the subscribe button yet? See, I stopped because I was trying to formulate a question, but instead of giving you some witty question, I'm just going to ask you why. And to my 18.8% of you that are clicking that subscribe button, thank you so much. We're on the quest for 2,000 subscribers. We surpassed 1,000. Now we're trying to hit the 2,000 mark. But yeah, the Grizzlies defeated the Clippers today in the final Summer League game of the season. Of course, Tyler Burton led the Grizzlies with 20 points tonight. And then 15 points went to Nate Hinton. Seems like all the Grizzlies at least scored one bucket tonight. And to some of these guys, they're not going to be on the roster anymore, but to Javon Small, scoring 17 points in the final game of the Summer League season is great to see, because you move into training camp and you move on to all these workouts these players are going to be going into that are on the roster, and, you know, seeing Javon Small scoring a good amount of points, you like to see it now. For guys like Tyler Burton, Ace Baldwin, thank you guys for balling out, but just can't. There's not a roster spot for everybody, so time will tell where these players end up in their NBA careers. But training camp just over the horizon. Of course, this is where Jalen Wells made a name for himself last training camp. So we'll see who does it this year. Now you take a look at the roster, and man, I mean, there's a lot of dogs on this roster. PJ Hall, Jared was on here talking about him earlier today. Cedric Coward, a rookie that I'm excited to see in a Grizzlies uniform in action. Jalen Wells, I already mentioned. Ty Jerome, I'm excited to see what his role in the offense will be. John Moran, again, just all these players that we're already familiar with. Some of them are coming off injury. Some of them, just are excited to get back onto the swing of things because we saw how well they played last season. Scottie Pippen Jr., I'm looking at you. But going back to the box score for the Grizzlies against the Clippers. Now, again, we mentioned a lot of these players aren't going to be playing on NBA rosters this season. If they do, they're going to be on a lot of the G League rosters instead of the main rosters. So some of these names you'll possibly see again, like a Nate Hinton or Tyler Burton or Bo Montgomery. I mean, some of these guys, they have a lot of potential to fill a spot if needed. But right now, where the NBA stands, just don't have that next step to really solidify a 5-man rotation, or possibly even being a 10 or 11th man on a rotation for an NBA team. But, again, I hope these players find their homes, whether that be overseas or in the NBA or even in any other basketball league in America, whether that be the Big Three or any of the other leagues that are currently going on. Of course, I'm sure they're going to find their spot somewhere soon. But next up for the Grizzlies, I mean, we got a little bit of time. Of course, I mentioned training camp, and, there's rumors going around if the Grizzlies are going to be making another move before this game happens. And, some people saying the Golden State Warriors are linked to it. The Celtics are linked in trade talks with the Grizzlies. But if nothing changes and, no big trades, no big moves happen, the next time the Grizzlies will be in action, well, I mean, regardless of if they make any moves, but the next time the Grizzlies will be in competitive action will be Friday, October 17th at 7 p.m. Central Time, when they take on the Miami Heat in preseason action. Now, I believe the regular season is slated to start on October 23rd, so, counting down the days, I believe we're 89 days away from this game tipping off. So I'm excited to see some of these players back on an NBA floor and playing basketball. But real quick, before I continue with some of the thoughts of tonight's game, I gotta ask: did you guys see Ja Morant's new shoes? Or not his new shoes, but the next lineup in the Ja signature shoe series. There's one in particular that I'm looking at getting. And, hey, man, look, I'm not going to claim I'm a professional hooper, but you put me in the corner and you get the ball in my hands, I'm going to get you a three-pointer 7 out of 10 times. But anyways, going back to the box score, talking about this game, really diving into it, yes, it is great to see every player that logged minutes in this game at least got 2 points, if not more. And the beautiful thing about the Summer League, now, yes, I know a lot of you guys in the comment section was dogging on the Summer League, dogging on me for talking about the Summer League and stuff like that. But the beautiful thing about the Summer League is that any given night, somebody can go score. Now, whether that's Ace Baldwin Jr. from Penn State or any of these other guys that, we've talked about on the channel before, yeah, that's great. But to see, I'm going to classify them as nobodies because somebody may not know who they are. But to see somebody like Tyler Burton play almost 23 minutes and shoot 57% and score 20 points and have a plus-minus of 41, I mean, that's great. Same thing with Jeremy Jones. I mean, he got 9. Just going down the list, Fleming Jr. had 11. Nate Hinton, I already mentioned, had 15. Javon Small had 17. So, I mean, the future looks bright for the Grizzlies. The future looks bright for these players that are playing on the Summer League rosters because, again, just because they're playing on the Summer League roster, ladies and gentlemen, does not mean that they're playing on the Grizzlies roster in the regular season. Now, I'm sure some of these guys, if there are roster spots, will be playing for the Hustle in South Haven, Mississippi. I don't know. I think they're classified as the Memphis Hustle, or yeah, they're called the Memphis Hustle. They're not called the Mississippi Hustle. They're called the South Haven Hustle. They're called the Memphis Hustle. But like I said, I'm sure some of these guys are going to fill roster spots on the Hustle on other G League teams this season. Some of them, like an Ace Baldwin Jr., who's already committed to playing overseas, will be going to play overseas this season. And a lot of people, a lot of hoop heads, a lot of basketball fans know how crazy the overseas seasons get. Quick shout out to two of my guys that I seen play in college, DeAndre Dominguez and Caleb Fields. They're doing their thing overseas. DeAndre Dominguez, if you have not seen him play, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, you're in for a treat. And if you want to see a true passer, go watch Caleb Fields. And those who watched Arkansas State basketball, while yes, they may not have had a Cinderella run and gone to the March Madness tournament, they have had some great players over the years at that institution. But moving past that, shifting focus back to the Grizzlies, here's the thing. I saw a lot of glimpses of hope in the Summer League with different players and being the future of the Memphis Grizzlies. I'm talking the next 3 to 5 years. If Ja and Jaren stay there and other players transition out and whatnot, I mean, again, some of these players possibly won't be on the roster come this time next year. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, I'm sure he'll be there, but I'm sure he's on the tail end of his career, and he's actually the longest tenured NBA player on the roster right now, so that's great to see there. At 12, Ty Jerome, he's got 6 years. He's not going to go anywhere anytime soon. He's the same tenured guy as John Morant, and Brandon Clark. But I mean, the thing is you look at the Summer League, and again, I go back, and a lot of people were like, well, why are we talking about the Summer League? Summer League doesn't matter. They're running a vanilla offense, and they're not really doing anything. It's not real basketball. Blah, 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 blah. But and I tell you this, come 3-4 years when Ty Jerome possibly isn't on the roster, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope hangs it up, you're going to see a team of Cam Spencer, Gigi Jackson, Ja Morant, Javon Small, Jaren, and just looking at a box score, possibly Tyler Burton comes back and plays for the Grizzlies, possibly Ace Baldwin if his overseas career does not go the way he wants it to. Because, hey, let's be real here. Just because these guys are balling out in the Summer League does not mean they're bad basketball players and they're playing no competition. I mean, again, you look at how rich the overseas venue is for NBA talent. I mean, Dirk Nowitzki being an overseas player, Pau Gasol, Marc Gasol. I mean, there's a lot of names I could talk about here, but just talking about the Summer League is that, I wish these guys the best in their endeavors wherever they end up playing ball at, because, I mean, a lot of these guys were fun to watch. And Javon Small, pointing at you specifically. Ace Baldwin, yeah, I caught a couple of the games live, and I watched a little bit of it here and there. Ace Baldwin, he's exciting. I watched him a lot in college because, again, just loving the game of basketball, watching it. But again, next up for the Grizzlies, Friday, October 17th, over 85 days away from now, taking on the Miami Heat in preseason action. Training camp's around the corner, so for any news, reports, rumors, trade talks, whatever, be sure you're clicking that subscribe button here on Grizzlies Digest. 81.2% of you are not subscribed. 18.8% of you guys are. So as we hit training camp, if there's any news that breaks, if one player is shining above all and there's a new star on the horizon, be sure to come here first. Either myself or Jared will be the first ones to report on that when we know more information. So, again, guys, make sure you're clicking that subscribe button here on Grizzlies Digest. Tristan Harlen saying so long, good night, sleep well, and have a good work day tomorrow if I don't talk to you on Monday. But again, you've been watching Grizzlies Digest. Signing off is me, Tristan Harlen. Wishing you a great work week this week, and hope you had a fantastic weekend with your family or yourself. And, go Grizz.